center field, who made Sports Center top 10 top plays yesterday from game 1.
And you can't say yesterday that Marissa McCann, who started for Missouri, wasn't able to get ahead of the Texas hitters. She found herself in a lot of 0-2, 1-2 counts, but it was trying to find a pitch that she was able to get them out on, and you saw that leadoff by Ashton Maloney battling 5 pitches and finding a way to just get something going, and I think that's at times what makes their offense so tough. They don't freak out when they fall behind. They continue to find a way to keep fighting and get stuff going, and solid leadoff by Maloney and passing it to the speedy Caden Henry.
Henry takes up stairs. The top of the order, very good for Texas yesterday. The 1 through 5 hitters win a combined 8 for 14 with 6 RBIs, knocking in 6 of their 8 runs. At the 9 spot, you had Katie Bennett. She was 3 for 3, so she had 3 of those 4 hits for the 6 through 9 hitters. The 3-1 pitch to Henry. Bunts a foul, full count. Season 7 for head coach Mike White, whose team is the #1 team in the nation. They've been ranked as low as #2, back to #1, so they've been one of the favorites nationally all season.
Well, and for good reason. I think when you look at Texas as a whole and the returners that they were able to return from last year and making it to the Champ Series against Oklahoma and the games and wins that they've been able to have this year, yeah, they've lost some games. It's really tough to go undefeated in a college season, as we know, but pitching, they're dialed in the circle. Offensively, lead the nation in multiple categories.
Going to twist back, giving it a look. It's into the seats. No chance for Crenshaw there, just a row or 2 back. Folks are bundled up once again. Fortunately, it's not raining. If you didn't check the game yesterday, they were supposed to play at 1 o'clock. That got postponed. We played at 5. The rain finally stopped. Still a little chilly, still a little windy. Not exactly a pleasant Sunday.
A little chilly? 44 is quite chilly, I'd say.
So we lost a degree. It's 43, and the wind chill's definitely in the 30s. And that's ball 4 inside. So leadoff double by Maloney, a walk to Henry. And it's kind of looking eerily like start of yesterday's game for Mizzou. The first 2 are on for Texas.
Well, and that last pitch by Sierra Harrison is that changeup, and that's a pitch that she hasn't really had the last couple years, something she's worked on.
Mia Scott bunts in the air right back to Harrison. And Mizzou gets the first out of the inning. Rare mistake for Scott to bunt one in the air. Sanderson's team gets the first out. Hosted the Supers here last year before falling to Duke. And this is a team looking to kind of turn things around. At 20-19 overall on the season, 2-8 in SEC play. Brings up Reese Atwood. Everyday catcher is the DP today. They do have a 3rd game, the final game of this series, coming up about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one, which will be on SEC Network Plus on digital.
And there's certain hitters, Mark, in a lineup that you don't want to beat you, especially in this type of situation with runners on, and Reese Atwood is that player for me. If I'm that starting pitcher, she's one of those hitters that I do not want to take me deep.
Chance, will this stay in play? No, it will not. Behind the dugout, right into that gentleman's lap. So moved into 2nd place in career home runs at Texas with her 3rd inning homer yesterday, her 48th of her career, 14th of this season. Just 10 shy of the program record by Taylor Hoagland. Two.
And those are the types of swings and misses as a pitcher you're like, let's go. You get someone like Reese Atwood swinging big like that on a pitch, it gives you that little extra confidence out there in the circle. And she's by far one of the toughest hitters in the nation. You look at her numbers, they don't lie. You look at her numbers last year, incredible. 23 home runs, 90 ribbies, having another heck of a year.
There's a 19-game on-base streak into today. 14 homers, 52 RBIs on the season. Her second 50-plus RBI season. It's under that high foul ball. Daly with room near the coach's box makes the catch, and a big out for Mizzou. You get that dangerous bat of Reese Atwood. It was 2 on, nobody out. It was Scott and Atwood coming up. Now it's 2 on, 2 outs.
Well, that's back-to-back. That's the pop-up on the bunt by Mia Scott, and then getting Reese Atwood to pop out in foul territory. If you're Sierra Harrison, you know that Jolie Mitchell swung at the first pitch of her at-bat yesterday, and that 3-run shot. Want to be precise with location at this point.
Right down central. You got away with one there.
It happens.
But you're right, Mitchell first pitch swinging in the first inning yesterday with 2 runners on and smacked one out to center. Her 10th home run of the year. Went after that pitch, she got way out in front.
Fuego. Just the heat on the outside part of the plate. And this is when you want to be smart, of course. We know it, 0-2. Sierra Harrison, quick 2 strikes.
Right back up the middle and into center field. Maloney heading for the plate. Linger's throw's cut off. Just when it looked like Mizzou may wiggle out of the jam, Texas does what they do, and Mitchell has her 35th RBI, and Texas has scored in the first.
Well, 0-2 right down Main Street isn't going to cut it at this point. We have to be better, especially when you get 2 quick strikes that way. And those are the little things. We saw it a little bit yesterday with McCann when she missed. You look at the Reese Atwood home run. It was right down the heart of the plate, too. And at this point, pitching, it's different now than it ever is, just based on how much data there is out there and scouting reports on you. Location is key, and it's going to beat hitting when it matters. If you're able to locate, it comes down to the pressure cooker. Can you execute big spots in big moments? Do you know counts? And Coach Larissa Anderson was talking about Marissa McCann and Harrison, like learning the difference between being a thrower and being a pitcher. There is a clear difference, Mark, in being able to understand when I go out there, if I'm going to face an offense more than one time, I'm going to be a pitcher. I have to find a way to understand how to make those adjustments, in-game adjustments, pitch to pitch. What am I looking for? What are the tendencies? It's hard now to be a pitcher more than it ever has been.
So much out there. The analytics, the video. There are no secrets.
It's too much out there.
You wouldn't have liked that back.
I'm very happy with the time that I played and no complaints.
Katie Stewart doing the catching in this game for Texas. 10 home runs of her own on the season. New pitcher Sierra Harrison, who's from the Kansas City area, Lee Summit, went to Lee Summit North High School. Missouri Gatorade High School Player of the Year in her time there. Now in her junior season.
And it's good to just sprinkle that in there. And Harrison at 1-2 counts throws that changeup 29.6% of the time, and you saw her throw that last pitch. It's just more so about making that an effective pitch. I think it's a little bit hard.
Jammed her up, fouled back.
And sometimes you're amped up, right? Like you're hosting the #1 team in the nation. There's action on the base pass. Heart rate may feel a little bit elevated at times, and sometimes that is why the changeup can maybe be a little bit faster or hotter out of the hand than you may like it. And when she settles in a little bit into this game, that's when you may see speed come down a little bit, not as elevated.
Stewart gets jammed and rolls it about a foot foul wide of third. Well, Harrison has been successful getting it in the kitchen as Stewart there, but she's been able to foul those pitches off.
I think if Sierra Harrison could spin that curveball with conviction, we've seen her go in the inner half to Katie Stewart a couple times here. We've seen her get some big swings and misses with that curveball. She hits a good spot. I'd like it.
30th pitch of the first inning. And it's up and away, and it jumps to a full count. We give the runners, Henry and Mitchell, a chance once the ball leaves the hand of Harrison to get a jump, and it's fouled back.
And at times that really can be the difference, learning being a pitcher and a thrower. Like, what is that clear difference? Well, the clear difference is not having those kind of waste pitches that at times you're not even getting a sniff from a hitter. No body movement, no nothing. It's a pitch that they want nothing to do with.
And on the ninth pitch of the at-bat, Stewart blasts it out left field. A 3-run shot for Stewart, number 11 on the season. And it's deja vu all over again for Texas. Another 4-spot today in the first.
Well, and this is just an off-speed pitch, and she's not fooled whatsoever. She knows it right off the bat. It gets out of here. You can see the frustration a little bit in Harrison. Hands go up. Sometimes you feel like you throw good quality pitches. And listen, that was a battle. She battled. She saw 9 pitches in that at-bat. There was not a whole lot that was fooling Stewart. But I think at times there could have been a couple more competitive pitches by Harrison that maybe seemed a little bit too much out of the zone.
A 3-run blast for Stewart gives her 60 RBIs on the season. That leads the Texas team. Well, a 4-spot yesterday in the first, and now a 4-spot so far today for Texas. They've gotten out of the gate quickly here in Como.
And I think at times it comes down to the pitchers and the starts that you're having as well, right? We've seen both these pitchers from Missouri a little bit struggle. Not saying they can't get ahead hitters. We've seen a ton of 0-2, 1-2 counts, but it's the battle back of Texas. And just as a pitcher, finding something where you can utilize the defense. It's not that you're always going to get the big strikeouts, but what are competitive pitches that I can keep in the ballpark, that I can use my defense, trust them behind me, and not feel like I need to do it all by striking everyone out?
Strike 3 to Vanessa Quiroga, and the strikeout first for Harrison, but 7 bat well on the season and in SEC play, and continues that, driving it to right center field. And a leadoff base hit for Crenshaw. He's now reached base in 17 straight games.
Number 7, the right fielder,
First hit of the series for the Tigers after they were no hit in 5 innings and run ruled yesterday by Tegan Cavan.
Well, and I expect nothing less from someone like Julia Crenshaw, who is big-time leader of this team in that leadoff spot for a reason. Her numbers are pretty incredible this year. She really sets the tone up there.
Stefania Abrascato playing right field at the plate for the Tigers. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Morgan paints the outside corner. Mac Morgan, Missouri native, Creighton, Missouri, went to Sherwood High School. Creighton is couple hours west of here. Peel down to first. Ed Clark says no swing. Jams Abriscato, foul tip into the mid of Stewart, and it's a strikeout.
This is NSYNC style dirty drop. This is just down and in. This is tough. This is high 60s, down and in, kind of one of those pitches where you have to recognize there's nothing I can do with it. I have to leave it alone. But also what makes it so challenging is it looks like it's up. Good fight back by Mac Morgan, especially after that leadoff base hit by Julia Crenshaw.
Make sure I got that straight. NSYNC style.
Dirty drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2005 hits. Sonos in the Lock household.
All right.
Play that a lot.
So if you had on your bingo card today, early reference to the 90s group NSYNC, check that one.
I mean, if you want to ask me my favorite, it's definitely Backstreet Boys, but it just didn't seem like the reference was right.
Suddenly the telecast has become about boy bands. The 1-2 pitch to Cara Daly. Mac Morgan played her freshman year at Arizona State, now in her third season in Austin with the Horns. Jams Daly. You know, you think Mac Morgan, she's primarily just trying to keep the ball down. That dirty drop.
Yeah. Well, you also think about how well she combos with someone like Tegan Cavan and why she can be such a solid number two is because she's just complete opposite. She's very much down in the zone. It's hard down. You see Tegan Cavan is primarily up. She's worked on that drop ball, has that rise ball as well as that change, but nowadays in this game, it really comes down to being able to have that pitching staff. It's tough to rely on one pitcher, especially when you get into the postseason. You know that that's just not going to work.
Daly gets jammed, a little pop-up that landed right on the chalk, but then kicks foul. I think he had some funky spin on it off the bat. Tegan Cavan going to use the sock cap to keep a little warm. By the way, most of your heat comes from the head. You want to keep that covered if you're cold, yeah. Well, it's been an issue for you this weekend.
Well, I didn't see you offering up any beanies for me. I mean, you're a native of the area.
3-2 pitch. Got her. Strike three on the inner half. And Morgan, after the base hit by Crenshaw, has come back and recorded back-to-back Ks.
This one looking, which goes to show how effective and how much spin is on this pitch. It catches Cara Daly just looking.
Towards third and caught on the fly softly by Mia Scott. And Mizzou wastes the leadoff base hit by game. Yeah, it was an incredible catch. In fact, we were talking with Mike White, the Longhorns head coach, and even he said to us that's one of the best catches he's ever seen made. So a compliment from the opposing head coach on the play made by Lingler yesterday. You know, in just 6-7 innings of offense that we've seen Texas here this weekend, we see why they are so good offensively, even when they get 2 strikes on them. They're so good at putting the ball in play, fouling off pitches until they get a mistake from the opposing.
Yeah, they're definitely makes it challenging on a pitcher. So you find yourself in this space of, oh, I'm able to get ahead. I got 0-2 here. Okay, now I can really play with the hitter, but such a patient eye at the dish where they're not really swinging at pitches way out of the zone and kind of at times maybe forces you to throw something a little bit closer in at times, and that's when they unleash.
Towards left center. She didn't have to leave her feet that time. Kaylee Lingler was a bit shallow, but was able to angle back and keep that from getting over her head.
You saw her in a little bit just simply because of Katie Bennett, and at times she is kind of that slapper from that 9 spot, can drop that bunt at any time. We've also seen her kind of get after something, but Langer just getting such good jumps out there.
See, Harrison had to throw 37 pitches in that first inning. She's trying to make it much more economical here in the second, and with the top of the order back up, a first pitch strike to Maloney.
Well, and a good changeup. Difference in speed on that one seemed a lot different than the Katie Stewart home run. And at times after that first inning, the nerves start to settle in a little bit, and it's like, let it rip.
Towards short, gonna have to hurry. Ball came up for Updegrove, and that was probably a good thing. Throw out the speedy Maloney, and they go in order. Like their chances.
It's going to want to be some redemption, for sure, from South Carolina, but.
What a second half for South Carolina, though. In the first game on Saturday is Mizzou comes up after just a 6-pitch inning for Sierra Harrison, set the horns down in order. Updegrove, shortstop fouls it away. An 8-pitch inning for her, for Harrison. Mac Morgan with her 1-1 pitch. Morgan, who pitched against Mizzou in the Clearwater Invitational a couple years ago in 2023. I think on February 10th of that year, 5 innings against Mizzou, allowed only 1 run. Mike White gave us the heads up that we will see Citlali Gutierrez at some point in the circle as well today for Texas. And that seems to be, as you mentioned earlier, Danielle, behind Kavan, who's going to really take the reins on that number 2 spot.
And they all complement each other so well because they are all uniquely different. But I think it comes down to being able to have that trust with someone that, you know, if Tegan Kavan needs a break or there's something, who can I put out there that is going to be able to rise to the occasion? And at times it's kind of gone with Citlali and Mac Morgan. So it's trying to figure out who's going to step up to that role and wants that role. And
it's obviously a big issue for a team that doesn't have many, if any, holes really trying to win that elusive national championship.
Yeah, and experienced a lot last year too, and I think that's also what makes them dangerous.
Strike 3 call on the inside corner. 3rd strikeout for Morgan gets Updegrove to begin the second.
Well, in the second, backwards looking K, and it's on this drop into those right-handed hitters, and the scouting report needs to be, and the information passed on to your teammates has to be that. When she's been able to get ahead of hitters, even if they've kind of worked the process of fouling pitches off, she tends to always come back to that down and in pitch to right-handed hitters to freeze them. And it's a hard pitch to be able to get your barrel inside of, especially with that good downward movement.
Soft roller, Caden Bennett up with it. Goes out Walker for out number 2. 5 in a row retired by Morgan after Crenshaw had a base hit to begin the Mizzou first inning, which has been the only Tiger hit of this series. Mizzou all the way has also, by the way, been shut out in 3 of their last 6 games. Yesterday against Texas, once in that series at Ole Miss last weekend, and also in a midweek non-conference against Kansas.
And their strength of schedule has been tough. They've played some really tough teams. They have had to grind. I mean, Coach Larissa Anderson had mentioned that Ole Miss series and having to do the mic'd up Monday, and to get that win was just, they were mentally like tired after that game because it was so back and forth, and then they had the midweek game Wednesday.
Out in the shallow center field drifts the second baseman, and that's Bennett making the catch to retire the side. And Mizzou goes for a team whose RPI, even with the losses that started to mount up in conference play, is still pretty darn high after what they did in non-conference play.
Yeah, they set their schedule up tough right out of the gate. Auburn, they went on a tear through Clearwater. We had one of their games in Clearwater against Liberty. We also had them last weekend against Florida.
So a big series for the co-head coaches, the Malveaux, who were coaches here at Mizzou for a number of years. So what's ahead for Mizzou? This tough opponents. It doesn't get any easier even after the number one team comes to town. Back to the circle and speared by Harrison. She helps herself with some defense. One gone.
I think sometimes it's mainly about being able to stay as like even keeled throughout this whole process, because conference play is really where it can kind of go up and down a lot. The emotions and the ebbs and flows that come with maybe the wins, the losses a lot. So it's being able to understand and respect, hey, we play in the toughest conference in the country. And how are we able to learn from the losses, even though they suck, we don't like it, it doesn't feel right. It's like understanding that you're not going undefeated in this conference. You're playing in the best. Your strength of schedule is by far top 10 in the country. And if you want to try to make a push to go far in the postseason, I mean, Missouri was one win away from going to the World Series last year. Like, they had the pieces to do it, and Duke came through and ended up winning 2 of 3. But what are we learning from the grind of where our team is at? And I think especially in the circle mark, right? They had Lauren Krings last year, and she was your every single weekend you could rely on getting 2 games from her. And now they're still trying to figure out how the flow of this is going to go in the pitching department. And if you don't have pitching, you know this and I know this, it's hard to win. So you have to be able to learn and figure that out sooner rather than later.
Mizzou program that's been to 6 Women's College World Series, including 3 in a row back in 2009, 10, and 11. 3-1 to Mia Scott, and she's on base with a walk. Second walk handed out by Harrison today. And is going to bring out head coach Larissa Anderson.
And at times, when I think about that connection with the coach being able to come out there, there's this accountability piece that I want to, and this standard that I want to be held to. I can't get Caden Henry out and then go walk Mia Scott. I have to go attack. And sometimes you need your coach to go out there and kind of say, hey, I need you to be better. You had that quick inning last inning. You got that leadoff out here. Now, can't walk Mia Scott and then pass the bat here to Reese Atwood. Step up. Be better for your team.
Anita brings up Reese Atwood. Fouled out the third first time up. 3 RBIs yesterday, including her 14th home run of the season. Blasted deep but foul out of the park down the left field side. We've had several conversations with Reese this week, and she privied us to a book that has made its way around the different players in Texas called The Twin Thieves. We dug a little deeper, and I had to ask her, I said, so, okay, what are the twin thieves? She said it's the fear of failure, that's one, the fear of judgment, number 2. Those are the twin thieves. And that book become an inspirational publication in many ways.
And something that stood out to me really about that book is when athletes feel loved and accepted regardless of performance, they thrive, right? At times you're so caught in the performance piece and how people are going to see you and they're going to view you. And at times it's funny because Katie Stewart was struggling a little bit prior to that Florida series. She was 0 for 13. And when I asked Coach Mike White about it, he had brought up the fact of, like, she wants to do well for her team and she fears that when she doesn't do well, she feels the weight of the world, right? And it's being able to know that regardless of performance, your teammates love you, they accept you, they know you're playing one of the toughest sports. where you will fail at times more than you'll succeed.
Just missed a good pitch that time from Harrison. Didn't get a call, and it's 2-2. Well, that book, part of the process, Reese Atwood has said that her mental game is better this year, better than it's ever been.
And there was an article I read prior to this weekend kicking off where she talked about her ABs and, you know, the year before last year. She does such a good job, and said last year her ability in moments to be able to zone into the at-bat, take the environment away, take all the things, the crowd, lock in on your breath and your process and your routine. Because at times you think of some of the moments that this young lady had last year, right? With the run that they had, the super regional that they had as the #1 seed, where they almost felt that sense of maybe we may lose this to Texas A&M, like a lot of emotions. But at the end of the day, when you step in that batter's box, you have to have your routine and your process and not be looking at the outside noise or the crowd or all the different things that can maybe take you out of your element.
Atwood hitting him hard. Mike White having to duck out of the way of that one.
I feel like I would be a little bit more down the line than where he's at. Jeez.
Yeah, that's probably good advice. Well, we saw Katie Stewart hit a 3-run homer on the 9th pitch of the at-bat in the first inning. Comes the 8th pitch of the AB to Atwood. She works a walk.
That's a really good at-bat by Reese Atwood. And if you're Sierra Harrison, sometimes you got to tip your cap a little bit. That walk seems different than the Mia Scott walk. The pitches weren't competitive, but the ones against Reese, it's like, dude, she's on you. She's kind of squaring you up, pulling that ball a lot. So sometimes you just sacrifice the walk and say, hey, I'm going to go attack someone else.
You are spot on with that. As hard as Atwood was hitting those balls foul, I think if you're Mizzou, that's not the worst thing in the world that just happened, that she just walked.
I don't want her to beat me. I don't want something like that going down.
On base, 20 straight now. Floated out to short, up the Grove there. Good pitch. Harrison jammed up Jolie Mitchell with a second out.
Number 20, the catcher,
This is also another opportunity here for Sierra Harrison to go up. Obviously, Katie Stewart home run the last at bat, but good quality pitches. And this is also, Mark, where you start to see the difference as a pitcher, where you learn the difference between being a pitcher and a thrower, right? The second time she's facing Katie Stewart, but this is what happened the first time. Right down Main Street, no doubt about it. This was an off-speed pitch. I think the velo was a little bit too up on it. 3-run shot that first inning.
Those are 60 RBIs on the season. She had 58 as a true freshman last year. She's had some big series. She had a 9 RBI series in the 3 games against Auburn. There's 4 RBIs in this series so far. I'll tell you what. Foul ground, left field line, and everything in that direction is just getting peppered.
Well, and I can appreciate the fact that you want to go heavy on the hands right out of the gate. Hey, I'm going to set the tone. This is my plate. If you're on it, I want to be able to get to the inner half. Now it's at that point where I get to 0-2. How can I expand the zone, whether I go up and out, because you know she can go up with that rise ball, or I actually wouldn't mind seeing that curveball maybe a little bit lower in the zone, snap that pitch away, maybe a ball off, try to get her chasing.
Out to right field. This is measured by Abriscato, who makes the catch. And I think in a way, Harrison did what you suggested there to a degree.
Did, yeah.
We'll visit with the Tiger head coach, Larissa Anderson.
So it starts in the circle and how that's going to play itself out. And I think once they really start to kind of continue to keep evolving and learning that piece, you're going to see everything start to come together.
Mac Morgan back to work in the circle for Texas. 8, 9, and 1 batters she will face. She set down the last 6 Mizzou hitters after Julia Crenshaw led off the first with a base hit. Mizzou's first hit of this game and first hit of the series after being no hit and run ruled in 5 innings yesterday by Tegan Cavan. Crenshaw due up 3rd in the inning. Three balls, no strikes. That is a 4-pitch walk to Lingler to begin the inning. Well, the Women's National Championship game this afternoon coming up. 3 Eastern, 2 Pacific on ABC. UConn taking on South Carolina. The game special. Get things going at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi also back doing their thing on ESPN and ESPN+. Big day in women's sports today. Happy to be a small piece of that with the national title game on the hoop side. Clara Cahalan batting in the 9th spot here for Mizzou.
And a good opportunity for her. You know she has that speed in the 9th spot for a reason. And it's being able to own your role and job in certain situations, especially with that leadoff walk. It's back-to-back 2 missed bunt opportunities, but your job is still, how can I find a way to advance that runner or be a tough out in the 9 spot, pass the bat to Julia Crenshaw.
There's now 4 strikeouts for Mac Morgan.
Well, and this is just not going to cut it. It just have to have a more competitive at bat. She misses the bunt opportunity on 2 and then takes that drop ball. I know it looks good, but just has to be a more competitive at bat there.
Crenshaw jumps on the first pitch, a high fly, left center, and the center fielder Henry comes in, calls off the shortstop good. Crenshaw being aggressive again, but that time just got under it a little bit.
Well, and when Coach Larissa Anderson talks about more competitive at-bats, that's 0 for 2 right out of the gate. When you get a 4-pitch walk, especially at the bottom half of the lineup, you have to do a better job of finding a way to move her over, especially with it being a 4-run lead. You're not going to score a 4 spot by just that 1 run, but the importance of being able to start to get some action going, moving the runners, putting that pressure on Texas defense, because they haven't felt it realistically in the last couple days. So try to put a little heat on them and turn that up and force them to have to step up and make plays. Listen, my competitive advantage if I'm Missouri right now would be, I bet they're cold. Let's find a way on defense to force them to have to step up and make plays.
Moscato fouls it off her foot. You know, we saw Mizzou assistant coach Bella Norton come right out and just get to Crenshaw. I'm sure that conversation was a lot of what you were just talking about. First season as an assistant for Bella Norton. She's a big proponent of that performance mechanics and things that she has brought to this program, and really Julia Crenshaw was ground zero for putting that mechanically, really changing Crenshaw last year to this year. And mainly watch the hips. It's the drive from the hips this year where she's generating more power.
Yeah, it's that like player profiling and understanding the motor preferences of how the body realistically moves, because everyone is so unique with what their strengths are. And I mean, Julia Crenshaw was the guinea pig. That's what Bella Norton said. She said, hey, we're going to use her. We're going to figure it out. And listen, they took a 200 average up to a 400 average by realistically learning that she doesn't move from the ground. She moves from her core.
It's a good swing by Moscato. Ropes one into center field. And there's Mizzou's second hit of the game, and they have a couple of 2-out base runners.
really good. This has to feel good if you're Abruscato. We've seen some big daddy hacks over the last couple days, but she stays on this drop ball, just barrels it right back up the middle. But I think it's kind of cool to just see how much more this game is continuing to evolve with really dialing it in on body and how it moves and how unique. And I thought something that stood out about Crenshaw is understanding that she's going to crush pitches more up in the zone based on how her body moves. The drop ball for her is not a pitch that she tends to be able to barrel up and have a lot of success with. So as a hitter, you start to learn, hey, there's pitches that I know my body moves more naturally towards, and down in the zone is not it. Unless I have that 0-2, 1-2 count, I want to be a lot smarter when it comes to that. So everyone is well versed on the motor preferences now, which I think is very cool. Everyone on staff, they all got, you know, their accreditation or whatever you want to say in it. And
it's really a case that the days of one size fits all is long gone. Everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's body moves a little bit differently, torques a little differently. That motor mechanics really explains that.
Well, and she's definitely somebody that her body naturally wants to be more upright, Crenshaw. And last year they had her a lot more down in her legs, and that kind of difference is like when she's upright, she's more in command and control of her midsection and her core, and those are the adjustments at times that are being told by Billa Norton and other coaches on staff. At times it was, hey, use your lower half to kind of help get you through, and now it is definitely more rotate with your core. That's your primary focus, and just those little things have made such a big difference in her game.
Coming over near the dugout, that's going to land in the Texas dugout. Here's the Mizzou staff and the motor preferences experts. And they're bringing more and more of that to the program.
Well, and just being able to see the numbers, like you look at Crenshaw last year, she batting 207, and significant difference in this young lady's swing, 368 hitter on the year.
Daly works that walk, and that loads the bases for the Tigers. And their cleanup hitter Taylor Ebbs coming up.
Pitching coach Patty Reed Taylor going out, and this is obviously the time to do that. Bases loaded situation, and just kind of connect and have that conversation. And the conversation we had with Coach Larissa Anderson prior to this series kicking off realistically was situational hitting and how this team can be better. And at times she said, hey, when there is that action on the base passes, this team tends to like stress and want to do too much, and especially with bases loaded, the numbers show it. 179, at times that's not going to cut it. When you have runners 60 feet away, you want to find a way to make them pay. And Taylor Ebbs, 333.
Mizzou trying to get back in the game. Bases loaded. 2 outs, last of the third. Texas scored 4 in the first.
And a good pickup in the transfer portal. Missouri is not what Coach Anderson said is known to just take and pick all the transfers. And I think when they looked at someone like Taylor Ebbs, they definitely needed that lefty stick, and someone that's well versed in the SEC and knows what it takes to be successful week in and week out.
Three seasons in Kentucky for Taylor Ebbs. Coming over this year, Oregon native. We're going to head in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. "55 pitches now from Mac Morgan. Couple of walks and a base hit for Mizzou. And right in on the hands. Ebbs fouls it off the body.
And this would kind of be an example for Mac Morgan, where, hey, we've seen her battle a ton of pitches. This is where I have no issue with throwing a ball way outside the zone because you're seeing a ton of swings. Ride something off, 2 balls out, try to force her to chase.
Goes over at foul, first time up. Ebbs hit a soft line drive to Mia Scott at third. Seventh pitch of this at bat.
See, that's a competitive pitch. In that count at 1-2, that's a great heck of a hold by Taylor Ebbs, but you saw a ton of swing and misses, and this is just exactly where it needs to be at this count.
To first, right on the bag. It's picked up, and Mitchell steps on to retire the side. Mizzou threatens but fails to score and leave Columbia. Game 2 of this 3-game series now in the middle innings, top of the 4th. Bottom 3 up for the Horns. Vanessa Quiroga, who's making her 9th start of the season today. In left field, 0 for 1. Out to left field. Claire Cahalan right there in front of the track. Quiroga flies out for out number 1. We got North Carolina Duke ACC softball coming up after we are finished here on ESPN2.
Shortstop number 43, Leanne Good.
To send up Leanne Good, the shortstop, lined out to center. First time up. Good play by Lingler. What have you seen in these last few innings from Sierra Harrison in the circle for Mizzou?
Yeah, I feel like she's done a good job at settling in and being able to get ahead of these hitters. I think that, to me, has been probably the most impressive thing. And once she's been able to get ahead, she's done a good job of using her defense. We've seen some fly balls, a couple ground outs, and that's really what it comes down to is ultimately when you're thrown in the circle, you set the tone. And I want to control how the game is going to go when I'm out there. And it's based on pitches thrown and understanding counts. And this is a good example of Coach Anderson saying that these pitchers are still learning to evolve when it comes to being a pitcher and a thrower, like facing a team the second time through. What adjustments do I personally have to make as a pitcher? What have I been seeing? What's my communication with Crenshaw behind the dish? And just hearing Coach Anderson in the coach call saying, like, we weren't seeing her maybe spin pitches through the zone as much, and just little things. And she's held them at bay, you can at least say, from that first inning on. They poured it on.
Harrison has 9 wins on the season. She's been the winning pitcher in each of her last 2 appearances. Last Monday at Ole Miss, she got the win, and then she pitched in the midweek against Missouri State here on Wednesday and got the victory. This has been the bugaboo. You get 2 strikes, just trying to make competitive pitches. Maybe they'll get themselves out, but the deeper the count goes, that seems to have benefited Texas so far today. And whip down the left field side, and we'll go foul. That missed the foul pole by about 3 feet. The ball was hit hard. Just hooked foul. Good's hit a half dozen homers this year. This one she sends to center. Lingler so good out in center field. She read that, backed up. 2 outs. It's the kind of defense you want out in center field if you're a pitcher.
Yeah, she's been rock solid out there. We've seen her run down 2 exceptional balls. Sports Center number 5 yesterday.
Probably biased, but I think it should have been a little higher.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Harrison set down the last 4 in a row now. 2 down here in the inning. It's ahead in the count to Katie Bennett. Texas scored 4 in the first yesterday. Went on to win 8-0. They scored 4 in the first today. Let's hit towards Lingler. He's there. Old reliable in center field. And that retires the side. An 11-pitch inning for Harrison. We'll talk to Coach White next.
Has that drop ball as well, but also that off-speed curve is her go-to, and that's what that pitch was right there. But can also sprinkle in the hard as well. I think the 3 different speeds of that curveball is the separator for her. And I will never forget last year her being in the circle and giving Oklahoma their first loss of the season. And it was just kind of one of those things, seeing her roll out there and watching. It was really cool.
That's a quick strikeout to begin the inning. Getting up to Grove.
The first baseman, number 2.
And Gutierrez's velo isn't going to be what Mac Morgan's is at 68 to 70 miles an hour, but I do think it's that changing of the multiple speeds that can make it challenging for a hitter. And tough to rely on just one. It's, hey, okay, how can I cover what side of the plate I'm looking for? How am I able to react if I get something that I don't want? When I get down in the count, how am I able to find a way to battle?
Left side of the infield, the shortstop wants sadly and good. Walker pops out. Citlali Gutierrez has set down the first 2 Tigers here.
Second baseman, number 22.
Gutierrez pitched a couple times in the series this weekend against Mississippi State. Just 1 run and 5 1/3 combined innings through a couple of appearances. Here's Sophie Smith. The Tiger offense, 2 hits so far today. Left the bases loaded last inning. Fouled back. We hadn't mentioned yet in this series the injury to Abby Hay from Mizzou. Back injury. They hope to have her back next weekend, if possible. And that's a bat, that's a power bat that you certainly like to have in your lineup healthy.
Well, and Coach Anderson had mentioned, too, if maybe the weather was a little warmer this weekend, we might have seen her, but just with it being the back and it being as cold as it is, there's just no point in pushing it. So potentially next weekend you will see her back out there, which to me, she just adds that extra fear factor in the lineup, which is missing. You feel someone like Abby Hayes when she's out there, so it'll be good to get her back going for Missouri.
A threat to hit one out every time she's at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-2 pitch to Sophie Smith. Up the middle and through. A 2-out base hit. 3rd hit of the game for the Tigers. All 3 have been singles.
I think she's getting a Sour Patch Kid there at first base.
She does indeed.
I was fortunate enough to get a bag. I know you were too, but
I did too.
You know, it was a nice touch.
Coach left that for us, the sour. Have you sampled any of those yet?
I have.
I have too.
Yesterday. I was really saving it for the plane ride home.
Okay.
I could take that down easy. So the goal is to save it for tomorrow.
But every time a Tiger gets to first base with a hit, Coach Anderson, their head coach, has a little surprise for him. That's bunted and well read by Mitchell. Bennett covering, and the other side retired. Winger trying to bunt her way on. Tigers strand a runner. They have. Harrison back to work with strike 1. Look at the list of Division I coaches with the highest winning percentage. Coach Inouye Perez, number 2. Patty Gasso, of course, number 1. Mike White, number 3 there.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Him going from Oregon and the success that he was able to have there, and then got the opportunity with Texas and has really helped turn this team into an absolute powerhouse, and in my opinion, one of the top dogs to fight for a national championship this year. They're that good.
Right up the middle and into center field. Only has her second hit, and that's a leadoff single.
We asked Reese Atwood just what it was like when you got the opportunity to try to fight for a national championship and you come up short, and what really was the big difference heading into the fall winter. And she said, this is a team that really is so hungry. Like, we look forward to coming to practice, getting better. She said on the phone call, like, it was 90 plus degrees and hot as ever at practice, and I still don't dread going. Like, we have this accountability piece with each other to continue to push and get better. And when you've been that close, I mean, they've been to 2 of the national championship finals in the last 3 years. Like, you can taste it. So what's the difference? How do you get over the hump? And this is an opportunity this year for this team to be player-led, try to get back there.
It's an unusual circumstance when the team, that being OU, who has won 4 consecutive titles, was with you in one conference, and now you come along with them to the most difficult softball conference in the nation.
Yeah, but ultimately, this conference is only going to strengthen those 2 programs that much more, because every single weekend it really is such a dogfight. So, you know, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time that OU and Texas are both coming together with each other. But ultimately, there's going to be no unknowns when you get to the postseason and when you try to fight to get to Oklahoma City. You will have seen it all, Mike White said. They're going to be playing Tennessee. We're going to feel what 76 to 78 miles an hour feels like when we step in the box.
You mentioned the success he had at Oregon. 5 Women's College World Series there. They were 9 consecutive super regionals. That's towards short. One hopper out at second to first. Not in time. Ball skips by. Henry heading for second. Throw there. Let's see if Mike White wants to. Yeah, he's going to ask for this to be reviewed. The foot, quite an adventure. That took quite a while. All right, let's see if we have a determination.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. The runner is out.
Okay.
That is the first challenge for Texas.
All right, so it is a double play.
And maybe potentially just not enough evidence to realistically overturn the call. That's what it comes down to.
Number 10, the third baseman, Mia Scott.
No bases are empty for Mia Scott. By the way, the base hit for Maloney to begin the inning was the first Texas hit since the Stewart 3-run homer in the first inning. Harrison has been able to keep the Horns off the board since that 4-run first. And Scott takes outside. Mia, the opener yesterday, 2 for 3, scored twice, which is significant because it allowed her to tie and then take over Janai Jefferson's previous school record of 222 runs scored in a career. So Mia now at 223. Some close pitches, but a 3-0 count on Scott.
And Mia Scott, she always makes me just laugh a little bit because she just has this confidence and this swagger about herself that pitchers despise. I mean that in the best way. But just the smirks and the little looks, and Coach Mike White had made the point, listen, Mia Scott's at her best when she's mad at the umpire. Like, when she's not happy, we know she's going to be able to step in the box and absolutely crush. She's someone you want on your team all day.
Harrison, after falling behind 3-0, got it back 3-2. That 3-2 pitch fouled away. 92 pitches from the Mizzou junior. Another 3-2 pitch. Got her. And Harrison comes back after falling behind 3-0. Happens to beat number 1 this year. It was the first time Mizzou had beaten the number 1 team since they beat Florida in 2015. Cahalan leading off. Tigers with the 9-1 and 2 hitters up. 4 runs in the first for Texas. That has been all the scoring. A check swing, and that puts it in play to short. Leanne Good.
When I think about that flashback to Oklahoma, you just think about how electric it was to be able to do that at home, and the crowd and the amount of people and just the energy from the dugout. And at times those are all the little things that add up to the big things. Being able to host these types of teams at home. Oklahoma won a couple weeks ago, and now Texas number 1. Coach Larissa Anderson made it clear, like, if you don't get like up and rallied and ready for those types of matchups, there's no game that's going to get you up and going.
Yeah, that was OU's first loss of the season. Being that it's their first year in the SEC, that was their first loss in SEC play as well.
I mean, it was going to be tough to go undefeated in the SEC.
Oh. Downright impossible, isn't it?
It is. And then they had Tennessee come into Love's Field and win 2 of 3.
Crenshaw goes down swinging. Lali Gutierrez now in her second inning of work. It's her second strikeout.
Right fielder, number 7, Solidifies.
Crenshaw and Coach Norton having another conversation. You've seen Abriscato with those, as you like to call them, big daddy hacks this weekend.
Hacks. Well, sometimes on the changeup, it always looks like a daddy hack. But yesterday with the heat of Tegan Cavan and everything up in the zone, that type of swing was not going to do much. But
Abriscato, a base hit to center field in the third, so she has one of the 3 Tiger hits today.
But it's that pitch that is just continuing to kind of eat up these hitters a little bit. It's that off speed that's kind of just dipping down and in on the lefties. And this is one of those pitches, and this counts, where you have to expect you're going to probably get something similar.
Right side to her left, out of the glove. Bennett picks it up, shovels late to first. Abriscato is aboard with 2 outs.
Good speed up the line by Abriscato. I'm sure Bennett wants to get that back.
They do scored a base hit for Abriscato, so her second hit. 4th hit of the game for Mizzou, so now the hits are even at 4 aside. The inning extends for Tiger third baseman Kara Daly. Lali Gutierrez was first team All Big 12 last year. She's, along with Mac Morgan, trying to solidify that Horns rotation behind Tegan Cavan. Her junior year out of Stanford, Texas. That is ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to Daly. That was the last batter that Morgan faced before she gave way to Gutierrez.
I don't know about you, but I'm hearing stuff from the dugout in Missouri, and they're yelling sit. I've heard it probably 6-7 times that have actually been spot on with her changeup. Whether or not that's enough time to react as a hitter when you hear it from the dugout, but clearly they're seeing something they're trying to relay to the hitter.
There's a strike call. Took a moment, but Bobby DeMeo throws up the arm, says it's 2-1. It's going to kick off Stewart and advance each base runner 60 feet. Blackston to third, Daly down to second. And base hit here could dramatically change this game. Close pitch goes the way of Gutierrez that time. Makes it a full count. Hit in the air to right. Maloney back, and at the fence makes the catch. I don't think the wind helped her at all there. It might have kept it in the top of the first inning. It all belongs to Texas. Jolie Mitchell's base hit to center. Brought in Maloney with the first run, and then the ninth pitch of the at-bat, Katie Stewart out to left. Her 11th of the year, 3-run shot made it 4-0, and it has stayed 4-0, and now we're headed to the 6th.
Yeah, I think Sierra Harrison has done a really good job continuing just every single inning to get a little bit better, and those are the little small victories of facing a team second time through the lineup, seeing how you're throwing, now facing them third time through the lineup. How are you going to adjust? I think she's done a good job of hitting some good quality spots, and more importantly, using your defense, right? It's not always about the big strikeout. We love it, but facing certain teams, you know that that's not going to happen as much.
Reese Atwood leading off. She's the DP. She has fouled to third and walked. She extended her on base streak. That plate appearance in the third with the base on balls. Pops this up on the infield. Walker wants it, and right along the line makes the catch. Well, Texas has the 4-0 lead. Mizzou has had chances. We just saw one in the last inning. Ball off the bat of Ebbs. It took Maloney all the way to the fence. Mizzou has stranded 7 base runners. Texas has left 2.
Yeah.
Mitchell going after the first pitch, gets jammed, but hits it to left. One down by Cahalan, and 2 quick outs in the 6th.
Well, and at times situational hitting is the hardest part of our game, right? You think about when it gets down to the nitty-gritty and you're getting into the postseason, it comes down to who's able to step up in some pretty big moments and get that key hit. At times it is by no means easy. See a lot of teams that find ways to practice throughout the week and put their team in those types of situations. I know Missouri did that prior to that Kansas game on Wednesday, because coach could just feel that, hey, they're pressing, they're trying to do too much. It's situational hitting isn't necessarily about changing your swing. It's more so respecting and understanding the moment of, hey, there's a little bit more pressure, no doubt, but I can't change the way that I swing the bat. The moment may feel bigger, the heart rate may feel elevated. How am I able to kind of control that part of my game and stick to the routine and trust myself enough in the moment?
Stewart grounds to short. There's Updegrove. That's been the real fun matchup to watch today, is that Harrison against Stewart.
Continue to make adjustments. You take away that first inning, I mean, this is a 0-0 ball game.
And the only inning the Tigers' offense has gone in order was the second. They have stranded at least one base runner in every inning except that second. Third inning of work here for Sidlali Gutierrez, and that's lifted by Updegrove to right field, and waiting on that is Maloney.
The first baseman, number 2, Madison Walker.
That's going to send up Madison Walker. Four runs, 4 hits for Texas. No runs, 4 hits for Mizzou. "13 homers for Walker lead the Tigers." Rounded a second today and popped to short. It's the inside corner. Mac Morgan through the first 3 innings scoreless for Texas. Gutierrez now in her 3rd inning of work. Gutierrez pitched a couple times last week against Mississippi State. Got the win in relief of Mac Morgan in one of those games. Also tossed a scoreless inning in Game 3 of that series at Mississippi State.
That was a good series. I think that kind of fueled maybe a different type of fire right out of the gate. I mean, they lost Game 1 to Mississippi State to a tough Raylan Chafin in the circle for them, and obviously Mississippi State can swing it. So when Raylan Chafin is on, they are tough. That was something that we had mentioned to Coach Mike White. And he said, we're a team at times that takes too long to get stuff going. The goal for this weekend was to strike right out of the gate, not wait till maybe you feel that pressure to have to score. And you can at least say with Texas, even though they haven't scored since the first inning, putting a 4 spot up right out of the gate is just that extra confidence that pitcher needs to really go out there and feel confident, sets the tone.
Yeah, mission accomplished for that for Texas.
Yeah.
These 2 games so far. 3rd game to play a little bit later here today. Here's Sophie Smith. A base hit to center field her last time up. And Texas, the Longhorns. They go to Tennessee. Actually, they have Tennessee coming up. LSU, Oklahoma, Kentucky. Those are their upcoming series in the SEC for the 13th time. Here we go into the 7th inning. Pitch number 100 on the day from Sierra Harrison. And Victoria Hunter off the bench, batting here for Vanessa Quiroga. First appearance of the series for Hunter. Couple homers for her on the season. And the way this game started for Sierra Harrison, at least heading here into the 7th, it has turned into some positives for her here, for sure.
Yes, I'd have to agree. The first inning definitely a little, oh, how's this going to go down? And I also think there was this different type of probably nerves, pressure potentially in the first inning just based on the velo on the change. You could tell because it was fast, it was up. And when that's the case, you know that the adrenaline you're feeling in the moment sometimes overtakes the pitch.
So he rides it inside and hits Hunter. The 2-2 pitch, and that's put the leadoff batter aboard.
Oh, and you heard that up there. You heard the giant sigh, and you heard it not hitting the Evo shield.
Number 43, the shortstop, Leanne Good.
Probably one of the first hitters I've seen in a hot minute that doesn't wear the Evo shield.
Puts the leadoff batter on base for just the second time today. I should say third time today for Texas. Leanne good. Swinging at the pitch. Drives one towards left field. Cahalan goes back right to the edge of the track to make the catch. Good jumping on the first pitch. Flies to deep left for the first out of the 7th.
Well, she's had a couple close deep flies. She had the one that was, inches away from hitting the foul pole and left, and then that one off the bat, I thought that was big hack. She's put some good barrel on it.
Running at first for Hunter
Run.
is number 4.
Leah Wallace at first for Hunter. Dale Wallace runs at first. Just one Texas hit since the Katie Stewart 3-run home run in the first made it 4-0. That was the Maloney single leading off the 5th, and she was erased in a double play.
And I think maybe that's the one thing to talk about. Like, offensively, you can go out and jump right in the first inning and put up a 4 spot, and then haven't really found a way to continue to adjust your second, third time through. When you think of a Texas offense, you think of the fact that they've been averaging 7 or more runs in 27 of the 38 games they've played this year. They always find what seems like a way to put up a ton of runs. So clearly they're not making the adjustments that they need to be able to do what that offense tends to do almost every single game.
Katie Bennett has lined to center a couple of times. Bennett's 0 for 2 today, but had 3 hits in yesterday's game. And takes strike 3. Strikeout number 3.
Yeah, and a thing of beauty, it's just the deception in the body. You can see Katie Bennett, I mean, she's slapping, so her momentum and body is already taking her through the batter's box, and to be able to pull the string on that, good pitch.
You see the pitches by Andy, that 37 pitch first. Back to the top of the order, and Maloney. Ashton takes a look at ball 1.
Well, when I was looking at Texas's stats prior to this game kicking off, I mean, they're a team that in that first inning hit at a 429 clip. And when you think about that right out of the gate, I think it's because they probably want to try to set the tone and instill the fear of, hey, we're the big dogs. Like, we find a way to make you pay right out of the gate. And in the 7th is actually when Texas tends to hit the best as far as average-wise. 458 average they've had against right-handed pitchers with 5 home runs and 7 ribbies, and they hit a 667 clip against left-handed pitchers in the 7th inning, which is maybe why we haven't seen Pinnell. I don't know if you definitely chalk it up as, oh, the average is, that's why we're not going to throw her, but in 2 games we've yet to see the lefty.
There is a third game that will follow today. Comes up about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game, which you can see on SEC Network Plus. There goes the runner. Throw down to second base in time. Well, caught stealing. Wallace to end the inning.
Zone, and has stepped up to get some big clutch strikeouts, and then Citlali Gutierrez has been also lights out in the changeup department. Multiple speeds she can throw at any given time. That off-speed changeup is huge. Off-speed curve is the money to go to. These two comboing together with the heavy hard down with Mac Morgan to the change of multiple speeds with Gutierrez has been a tough combo here for Missouri to try to adjust.
8-9 on one part of the order up here for the Tigers, down 4. Kaylee Linger leading off. Has walked and was thrown out bunting last time. All 4 runs scored by Texas came in the first. Mizzou has stranded 7 on base, so they've had some chances. North Carolina Duke coming up next here on ESPN2. ACC softball when we're finished. Send it to Kevin Fitzgerald and Carol Bruggeman in Durham. If Texas hangs on to win, that would clinch a series win. Would mean that they will have won all 4 of the SEC series that they have played to this point if they hang on here. Definitely a lot better at bats for Mizzou here from the middle stages to the late part of this game. Mizzou got no hit yesterday. Run ruled in 5 innings. Tegan Kavan. Here's Linger is able to work this to a full count. Three-two pitch. The Tigers put the leadoff batter on base for a 3rd time today. At the top of the hour, those of you looking for the Duke Carolina softball game, that's getting underway on ESPNU, and we will join them as soon as we are finished here. Maya Dodge pinch hitting, hits a high drive foul down the right field side. It goes out of play.
Maya Dodge was in the lineup yesterday and had gotten the midweek start as well against Missouri State. Been a solid pinch hitter for them, putting up some good numbers, had earned the start. Pinch hit today.
Dodge hit a 2-run home run on Wednesday here against Missouri State in a non-conference game, her first home run of the season. She pinch hits here with a runner aboard, nobody out in the 7th.
I wouldn't be surprised for game 3 coming up next if you don't see Tegan Kavan again, right? Like, makes sense with throwing both Mack and Gutierrez to probably put the ace out there.
Wave and a miss to Dodge fans. Gutierrez gets the strikeout, her 5th, and 1 gone in the Tigers' 7th.
Change up, down in the zone, tough pitch.
Lineup turns over for Julia Crenshaw. Swings and hits it to the alley in left center field. That ball's down. Quickly cut off by Henry. Throw to 3rd. He's beat her, but safe is the call. Got in with the slide. Linger, dangerous. And down to 2nd on that throw to 3rd goes Crenshaw.
Gosh, Mark. I mean, Mia Scott needs to apply a better tag there, but I don't know why we're pushing the envelope. If you get a good tag, she's dead by a mile. With needing to put up 5 runs to win it, 4 to tie.
That's a gamble you don't want to take. Yeah,
I'm probably not. I mean, I wasn't much of a steal base type of gal, but the last thing you want to do is be thrown out and then push it to 2 outs. You don't want to take the bat out of someone's hands, but hey, it worked in Missouri's favor. They got runners on 2nd and 3rd here, 1 down.
Moscato is going to return. She was run for by Blackston, and then Blackston stayed and played right, but it's Stefania's bat back here with first base open. Down to their last 2 outs, down 4. Twisting around and able to get back in the crowd. Moscato has a couple of hits today. Base hit to center in the 3rd. Field hit in the 5th. White has come out with his lineup card. Looking like he's going to make a change here. He's going to lift Gutierrez. And Texas will make a pitching change. We'll tell you more about the new hurler when we come back.
Her experience of what it's like to come into a tight ball game, even though it, four spot feels a little tighter here in the bottom of the 7th.
And there is a third game to play in this series a little later today, and we were just discussing and we thought Cavan probably would be the starter in that. Right now her job is try to get Texas a win here in game 2 of this set as she gets a borderline strike to Abriscato, and it's now 1-2. Two on, one out. Mizzou down 4 in the bottom of the 7th. A big hack by Abriscato, fouled it straight back. Hinger's the lead runner at third. Renshaw's at second. She picked up her second hit of the game. 1-2 pitch from Tegan Cavan. Got her. Big rip and a miss by Abriscato, and now Mizzou's down to their final out.
Can't beat the heat.
Number 19, Kara Daly.
Brings up Kara Daly, who's walked her last 2 plate appearances, officially 0 for 1. Mizzou's potential tying run still in the on-deck circle. Daly trying to keep it going for Mizzou. 1-0 pitch from Cavan. Center field, hit well. Henry back, and it's a 1-run game. Ninth of the year for Kara Daly. And Mizzou scores for the first time in the series. And suddenly, the drama ticks up.
This was a no-doubter, dead center, 220 shot, dugout, loving it.
RBIs 28, 29, and 30 for Kara Daly. Oh, it's a 4-3 game. Tigers still down to their final out, but the tying run's at the plate, and Taylor Ebbs, who's hit 7 out this year. See how Tegan Cavan now reacts. Giving up the 3-run home run. 1-1 pitch. And she's got Mizzou down to their final strike.
Big hacks on those last 2 pitches. I'm going right back upstairs. 1-2 count. It's a good hold by Taylor Ebbs and a good pitch by Tegan Cavan. I would love if we could sneak a change in. Just haven't thrown one yet. 10 pitches in.
Texas with the win now, 36-3 and 9-2